Okay, so welcome. My name is Asif Rahmani, as hopefully you know. Uh, I am a presenter, I am a trainer, consultant, and I'll tell you a little bit more about myself soon. But I know what you're here for is something that I want to talk to you about first, which is what is this presentation about? What are we going to be talking about? And that's the tour of SharePoint 2013 user interfaces, right? SharePoint 2013 is, of course, the new SharePoint that's coming out. Right now it's in the preview phase, so Microsoft has released the SharePoint 2013 preview, and pretty soon, hopefully, we'll have the actual product as well. But in this preview, it's actually a very solid, very stable preview. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot to see of how things have changed. My focus is going to be on what things have changed and not starting from scratch. So if there are people out there who are starting completely from scratch, you will still get a lot out of this webinar. Believe me, you will. But if you will get a lot more value if you've seen and worked with the interfaces of SharePoint 2010 or SharePoint 2007 before. So as I was saying before, here's me, Asif Rahmani. I'm a SharePoint Server MVP and a Microsoft Certified Trainer. Here's my Twitter tag if you guys would like to use this and send me a message or put something out there. That'd be awesome about this webinar or anything else. Okay, and here's the email if you'd like to reach out to me. Alright, so what to expect during this presentation? Let's talk about that. Lots of demos. I love demos. I love it when people present demos, so I like receiving them and I like giving as well. Go ahead and place your questions in the Q&A. There's a question and answer panel in the GoToMeeting panel. Go ahead and put something there. I would love to try to get to all of them. The reality is I've never been able to get to all the questions, so I'm sorry in advance for the people who I don't get the questions to, but I will try my best to answer some questions in the middle and then answer most of the other ones at the end. Okay, I'll try my best. I will also be putting out some polls to see what your reaction is for the different interfaces and features that I'll be showing along the way. Okay, so there's going to be quick polls. I'll give you about a minute to respond, and then I'll show the result to everybody so everybody can see what people are saying. And as I was saying before, that if you have prior knowledge of SharePoint 2007 or SharePoint 2010, you will enjoy this webinar more, but no worries if you don't. Still, you'll, I think, be able to get a lot out of this webinar, I think at least. Okay, so I'm going to spend 2 minutes, maybe less, telling you who I am, a little bit more in depth. SharePoint Server MVP and Microsoft Certified Trainer, as I mentioned before. I'm also the principal contributor to SharePoint-videos.com. SharePointVideos.com, if you have not been there before, I would definitely recommend going. We have videos on SharePoint in general, lots of different things, SharePoint Designer, InfoPath. There's 423 videos out there already, including some SharePoint 2013 videos that I'll talk to you about in a minute. So there's a lot of content out there. A lot of that stuff is actually, well, at least some of this stuff is free as well. Dozens of videos are free, so you can watch that, and then there's a subscription to watch more videos. I've been blessed to have the opportunity to write a few books. I'm working on another one right now for SharePoint 2013, so let's see where that goes. And I present at conferences quite a bit. I'll be presenting at the SharePoint Connections that's coming up, then the SharePoint Conference that Microsoft is hosting, the big one, and then also a SharePoint Live conference that's happening in Orlando. And then there's another conference that's happening in Netherlands as well, in Amsterdam. There's Connections happening, so I'll be there. If any of you guys, if you're there in any of the conferences, I would love to say hello. All right. So regarding the videos on the site, I just want to show you where the videos are. So after this slide, and actually after a couple of slides, I'll show you on the site where the videos are so you can watch them. All of them are currently free. You can go and watch after this webinar. Installation of SharePoint Server 2013, walkthrough, theming, quick launch, changing site logo, title, all the different things that I'll be showing here, and some of the things that I will not be able to show in this webinar. Everything is available on the videos on the site, so you can watch all that stuff right after the webinar. Okay, so I'll show you where that is. And also the webinar that I'm doing right now, I will be recording it, so I am recording it right now, and it should show up in the free videos webinar category. I'll show you where that is also on the site, and these are the existing webinars already there. I think we have a couple of dozen webinar recordings from the past, so you can watch all of them, all free, and this recording will be out there as well. So let me quickly show you where that is, and then we'll return here. Okay, so if you go to SharePoint-videos.com, from videos, SharePoint 2013 video tutorials right here, you'll see that's me right here, by the way. I'm the author for all these videos specifically. That's all your content right there for SharePoint 2013. And for the webinar, if you go to free videos, under that, if you go to webinar recordings, it will take you to the section where all the recordings are. And the new one, this one, is going to appear right here on top afterwards. Okay? Alright, so that's the deal. Let's get back. Okay. Here's SharePoint 2013. That's what it looks like. Okay? As I mentioned before, I want to be doing some polling and stuff along the way to get your reactions and different things along the way as well. So the first thing that I want to put out there, a first poll, is going to be, what experience do you currently have already? All right? Let me look for that poll and put it out there. Hang on a second. Here we go. Launch. Okay, so the poll is open. If you could please respond, let me know. And what I'm looking for is at least a month or so experience is what I consider having some experience with the version. Wow, some SharePoint 2001 people here too. Kudos to you guys. You stuck with it. I also started that time, SharePoint 2001. It was a long, arduous journey. And a few folks have already worked with SharePoint 2013. That's great. I'll give you guys a few more seconds and I'm going to close the polls. And then I think I have the possibility here to show you what the result is as well. So here we go. Ready and done. Okay, so you should be able to see what the audience is made up of right now. Let me see. Yeah, that's what the result was. A lot of SharePoint 2010 people. Great. Well, thank you very much. Let me hide it over here. So, okay. Back on the slide. Now I only have one slide for this particular piece, the new SharePoint 2013 team site. Right after that I'm going to jump into the actual interface and start showing you stuff, because that's what you're here for. You want to see it, you want me to talk about it, I'm sure, you want to ask questions, and that's what I want to do, not go through the slide deck. So I only have minimal slides for each section. Alright? Exploring SharePoint 2013 team site. That's the demo we're going to do right now. So let's get to that. Alright, here's my demo environment. Okay, this is actually the Office 365 preview site, which has the SharePoint 2013 bits running on it. Alright, this in addition, this is like I was, I don't know, actually I didn't mention this before, that SharePoint 2013 is of course available as a standalone, but then the preview, the same preview, is also available within SharePoint, within the Office 365 preview. So this is the site that's running SharePoint 2013 in the cloud, and then I want to show you also this is running it on-premise. There we go. So I'm logged into a server that is showing you the SharePoint running on-premise. You see over here it says SharePoint, the other one says Office 365 preview. No difference in it. I mean, there's actually some difference, and I'll show you the difference right now. This one and the other one is this one. So there's an additional button over here which I'll get to, and aside from that, there's this bar on top, which is a little bit different. It shows Outlook, Calendar, People, because now you're running in the cloud, so it shows you some of these cloud features of Outlook and Calendar and stuff like that, People, directly that you can get to it. In the internal version, we don't have that, because in the internal version, of course, it's running an Active Directory, so you don't go to Outlook directly from here. It's not a web Outlook. Although I'm sure there must be a way to put that stuff there as well. I do not know currently, but I just wanted to show you the difference. Running on premise, once again, running in Office 365. Now I'm going to be showing you this instance, the Office 365, because I want to be I want to make use of the emails that are going to be going back and forth. I want to show you the emails, hopefully. And also, there's a couple other features which are not enabled in SharePoint 2013, like the Office web apps. The Office web apps, I don't have that installed. All that stuff is not configured. Everything is configured here, so I'm going to use this site. Okay? I am logged in right now, Asif Rahmani. One big main thing that I noticed over here, that's the same thing in here and on the premise, that you don't have a way to log in as a different person here, which is really weird, I think, personally, but that's what it is. There is no way to log in as somebody else. What I've done in my own environment is I've got 3 different browsers going. So I got Firefox, I got Internet Explorer, and I got Chrome. And I'm going to be using different users for each browser. But there's no way to log in as somebody else over here. You just have to sign out and you have to log in again, which is painful, I think, to do all that stuff. In any case, okay, let's look at this view. So the first thing, of course, that jumps out at you, obviously, is this stuff, right? The cool buttons over here. It's the Metro interface. I don't know how many of you know and understand the Metro interface. Let me write that down over here. Okay, so that's what this is. This is the Metro interface. And this Metro interface is being utilized by Windows Phone these days. It's in the Windows 8 that's coming out very soon. It's already RTM'd. So Metro interface is here to stay, and it's going to be everywhere that you see. When I go later into adding apps, I'll talk to you about apps later, that's going to be there as well. Okay. The first one here says share your site. So security. Second one here, working on a deadline, get organized with adding tasks, timeline, and calendar. What does that mean? Well, it's going to add the tasks, the timeline, and the calendar apps to this site. And apps, by the way, is somewhat interchangeable with the lists and libraries that we're used to. So document library, for example, documents in this case, is an app now. It's called an app. In case you, let me just write this down here. Okay, document library is an app. Tasks is an app. Context is an app. Calendar is an app. Everything is an app. Okay, and then of course you can make your own apps and put them here, or you can buy apps from the App Store. The whole app paradigm is huge, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that pretty soon. But that's what this is saying, that you can add the 3 apps directly here right away if you wanted to. Here it's saying, well, I can add a specific app that you want. You can go to the create page or the create app page, and then you can choose the one that you want. In this case, which is a package, I'll add the task, timeline, and calendar. Here you can pick the one that you want. This is where you want to change the style, the theme. We'll go into that later, how you could do that here. You want to change the logo and description of your site. That's this stuff right here, right? You got the logo here, the description, and the actual name. You can do that from here. And lastly, this is actually newer. This is saying that you can share your email on your site and connect documents to Outlook. And this is also an app. Let me click on that actually. So this is an app that it's asking to add, and this app would become the site mailbox, keeping email and documents close together. So when you are in SharePoint, you can see your email from Outlook. When you're in Outlook, you can see your email and you can see your documents from SharePoint. It is going to provide you a unified platform, basically, if you use the site mailbox. Pretty cool. We'll talk about that in a different webinar. Okay, so that's the Metro boxes. I don't want to spend too much time here. Then on the left side over here, you got your quick launch, right? So the quick launch here has got the home, it's got notebook. Those of you who are fans like myself of OneNote, here's OneNote right here, right? OneNote is awesome. So Microsoft OneNote has actually been integrated and is available here. You can click on this, actually go to the notebook or create new notebooks. Okay, there will be an interface where I'll show you exactly where you can make a new notebook. Actually, you can do that right here. Let me do that right now. So right here, if you say new document, there's a OneNote notebook. Really nice, right? And of course, you can also make Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and all that stuff is going to be made using Office web apps if I want to do it this way. So doing it directly in the browser instead of doing it on a FAT client and then importing it in. So that's pretty cool. All right, so you got home, notebook, you got Newsfeed. So Newsfeed, of course, is exactly what you think it is. It is Facebook-style Newsfeed. You can see the actual news that other people are producing. You can produce your own news. So that's going to be a place, let me go ahead and click on that. That's a place where you can write stuff. You know, you can start a conversation saying, okay, teaching a webinar or presenting a webinar right now. Post. You see, you got my picture here. It says Asif is teaching a webinar right now. That's great. Somebody else can also come in and respond to that. Very much like Facebook. There you go, reply here. You can attach pictures. You can click on this and add links to it. Very nice interface. Okay, let's go back to home. Documents here, same as documents here. I will talk about document management later, but that's the main document library. Okay, it's called Documents in SharePoint 2013. Site contents will take you to the site contents. Here it is. So as I was mentioned before, documents, microfeed, that's actually for the newsfeed stuff. Site assets library, where all the images and other things go. Site pages, where all the pages go. All those things are apps. And you can add a new app. Let me come back to this. But this is, I want to show you the Metro interface for discovering the current apps and adding new apps. Okay, so that's the Metro interface here. You got the quick launch here, and the quick launch is easily editable. You can add a new link just like that. You can say, okay, maybe I want to link to MSN. MSN.com. So here you go. Now I have a link to MSN. You can easily configure that directly from this interface instead of having to go to site settings as a site owner like we had to before. Same things for the top link bar. You got your webinar right here, and you can say edit link, and then you can add more links here if you wanted to. Okay, I won't do it right now, but you get the picture, I'm sure. Alright, so that's the webinar. It's a subsite of HR site collection. That's where we are right now, and then you can go further into it. You can add more links if you wanted to. Since we're looking at the top link bar right now, let's go a little bit further up. You got the browse, which is where we are right now, and you got the page tab. The page tab has got the same kind of stuff that we had before. It's got something a little bit different, the popularity trend. That's a different button. It says review popularity trend reports, which provide insight into how and what content is being accessed. That's pretty cool. It's like analytics for seeing exactly what is popular on your site. Now, I have to admit that I've not really dug into that much yet, but that's one thing that's new right there. You got alert mechanism, email and link to your to this page, permissions of the page, history, and other stuff is the same as before. Okay, so that's your top right here. I mentioned before that this is the Office 365 specific things right here, Outlook, Calendar, and People. So I will go ahead and hopefully later click on this and you will see how we can get to the actual Outlook for Asif Armani, for me in this case. Calendar will show my calendar, people, the different people who are in the network. Okay, but that's Office 365 specific. Newsfeed, now this is a little bit confusing. You got Newsfeed right here, and then you got Newsfeed right here, right? This, I think, is going to become a little confusing to the users as well, and to yourself maybe, at least in the beginning, because this Newsfeed right here, this is actually for my site. While this Newsfeed right here is for this team site. So unfortunately, there's not a clear distinction as to which one is which, but this is going to take you to your My Site and show you your newsfeed specifically. This one shows you the newsfeed for this site. Okay, personal newsfeed, team site newsfeed. Now, similarly, when you look at this one, sites, this I thought in the beginning would take me to all the different sites that I have in the site collection, which just would make sense, but that's not the case. Over here, if I did click on this, it would take me to my site. So this is also my site, okay, the site up top. Please remember that. SkyDrive, this is pretty cool. This website itself can put information on my personal SkyDrive. So I can actually take information, take documents and things like that, and have it localized into a SkyDrive Pro account that comes with SharePoint 2013. So then you can keep your content in sync from your site to your computer. SkyDrive, for those of you who have not worked with it before, is very much like Dropbox and Google Drive and things like that. In fact, I'll go ahead and be open and honest that look right here, I'm using Dropbox and Google Drive both on my own hard drive on my own computer. So I'm a fan of both of those things, and of course SkyDrive is awesome as well. So having SkyDrive, having the same kind of Dropbox kind of functionality within SharePoint, that is pretty awesome, I think. All right. So that's what you got. You can actually take your documents and have them synced into many different computers all together. Makes it really nice. Yeah. All right. Then you have the admin over here, and this actually is for Office 365 specific stuff, so we won't get into that. I already talked to you about this one, the menu, About Me, Sign Out. This right here is, if you're wondering, where's the Site Actions menu? I don't see Site Actions here. I don't see Site Actions here. It used to be on the left, then they put it on the right, then they put it on the left, and where is it right now? Well, it's on the right again. This is Site Actions right here. Okay, so it says Settings when you hover over it, but I mean it's Site Actions like we know it. So what is this site shared with? Edit this page, new page, add an app, new site, view site contents, site settings. Getting started, this actually is the same as these boxes over here. So if you click on this, it will take you to another page which will show you the same Metro interface. And settings for the Office 365 preview, which like I said is specific to the Office 365 environment. But everything else is same as regular SharePoint 2013. So one big difference that I saw over here, which is very much welcomed by the way, is that there is no way to create a new site. Now you might say that that's not good, is it? Well, people used to create sites left and right, subsites, right? And that's not a good thing to do. So they removed it from here. You can still go, of course, into view site contents, and from here you can say new subsite. And from there it's the same interface to create new subsites, the same kind of templates and all that we had before. Duet, don't worry about that right now, but the same kind of templates, same kind of features over here, that's all available, but it's not there here. So a site owner doesn't go ahead and make several subsites. That's used to be a problem before. All right, let's move on. You got some help that you can get to from here. You got some feedback you can deliver back to Microsoft here. This maximize button actually gets rid of the quick launch. You see that right here, quick launch? It goes away when you click on maximize. That's what this does. Same thing for the home page, same thing for any page. It just changes the display CSS really to hide the quick launch. That's all it's doing. So you can focus on your content like it says when you hover over it. Edit will let you edit the page. Let me go ahead and do that. So here's my edit. And then when you go into it, the same kind of stuff before. You can go into page and you can format the text, insert different things, web parts, app part, embed code. You can do lots of cool things like that in there. I want to have a chance to go into all these different features, but I just wanted to quickly show you that the experience still remains the same of how to edit the pages. Okay, save and close. Yikes, it didn't let me save and close. Something went wrong. Well, it is a preview software. So page, save, stop editing. All right, so I didn't save it this time. Okay, sharing. This is what I'm going to get into next after I take a couple of questions. Follow, you can actually follow sites, you can follow people, you can follow documents, you can follow different things, and then actually all that stuff shows up in your newsfeed. So if I'm following a document, any different changes to a document, it will show up in my newsfeed. That I think is very, very cool. Just like we think about following on, liking on Facebook or following on Twitter, same kind of stuff. Syncing, this is what I was talking about before. If you click on this thing, SkyDrive goes into action. I may or may not have time to show you that at the end. We'll see. But that's where it syncs up all your documents on your computer. It's pretty cool. And that's it for this interface. So let me take any quick questions you guys have, and then I'm going to continue. Okay. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. Hang on a second over here. Yeah. Okay. So let me go ahead and look at the questions quickly, and then we'll move forward. I can only take a couple right now. Okay, how does the central administration look? Is it the same as before? Yes, it is. Central administration looks the same as before. There's no changes there. Once again, if I get a chance later, ask me again, Judith. Judith is the one asking this question, and I'll show you what it looks like, but trust me, it looks exactly the same as before. Okay, hang on a second here. Does SharePoint connect with Lotus Notes natively? No, not to my knowledge, Matt. Lotus Notes still is accessible through business connectivity services as before. You can connect to all different systems, including Lotus Notes, get data from there, but not natively. Will SharePoint Online 2013 support native SQL connections in BCS? I don't think so. There is a way to get to SQL Azure services, John, and you manipulate through that, but that's all I know of right now. Robert is asking, the email app just is an extension from the Outlook web part in previous versions. Well, thank you. Do the apps take the place of the web part gallery of SharePoint 2010 is what Michael's asking. So the web part gallery is still different, right? Web parts are the ones, Michael, that show the lists and libraries, or in this case apps, but that's different from so that's different. Web part gallery is different than the app store. All web parts will be referred to as apps, Jane is asking. So once again, maybe I've confused you guys a little bit. Web parts are the ones that show the apps, right? Web parts are different. Now the underlying list or library itself has been renamed as app. That's the difference. All right, I'll come back to questions, but I want to make sure that I can show you all the things that I want to show you. So one big change that I definitely want to get to before it gets too late is sharing. Sharing, security, site security. How does that work right now? You know, before that's been a problem. And when I say a problem, here's what happens before in the past. When a user goes to a site they don't have access to, you know what they get? They get a box saying, well, you don't have access to this site. Request access. Fine. That makes sense. Now you go ahead and put something in there in the box and say, okay, I want to request this access. And then what happens? You may or may not get access, and you may or may not be notified that your request has been looked at. And the administrator may or may not remember that they got your request until you see that administrator say, hey, what about my request? Like, oh yeah. There's no way for the administrator, the site owner, basically to go to a place and say, here are all my requests. And also, quite honestly, when somebody comes and says, I want access to this page, and you're a site owner, or access to the site and you're a site owner, you're thinking to yourself, why do you need access? Why should I give you access? So these are the kind of things where you want to ask this thing to the user who's asking, and all this stuff is possible because there's a conversation component in SharePoint 2013. So without further ado, let me see if I can show you this stuff. Hopefully everything will go fine, but if not, let me apologize up front. It is preview and beta software. So I just copied the URL for webinar. I'm going to go into Internet Explorer, open up a new tab here. We'll put this here. Aha. Okay, so the person who's signed in right now, which I think, by the way, of course, if I had not logged in before, it would have asked me, who are you? So you have to consider right now, I'm logged into my computer, let's say, as a specific user. In this case, I think this is Christine. We'll see. And Christine is logged in. She goes to the site. She doesn't have access to the site. It says, let us know why you need access to the site. To all the HR documents on the site. So that's something, a message that Christine writes. I need access to the documents. You just click on send request, and it's actually, okay, so that's not Christine. It was Aaron who signed in. My apologies. So Aaron is signed in and just putting this message out there for the administrator, the owner of the site, saying, hey, I need access. Here's the information. Here's the reason I need access, right? Let me go ahead and do the same thing for Christine, which is Chrome, actually. Okay. So this is Chrome, the Chrome browser. I'm going to go ahead and go to a different tab here. Try to go to the same thing, webinar site. Now, Christine is the one, I'm pretty sure, who's logged in, and she is going to say, so she's just like casually browsing. I just want to see what's available on the site. Send request. Yeah, Christine Koch or Cook. I don't know, who just want to see what's available on the site. So that's what her message is. Great. Now what? What does a site owner do? So let's go Firefox here, and I'm the site owner. Also for reminding, I'm going to go to Site Actions, Site Settings, which, by the way, looks almost exactly the same as SharePoint 2010 Site Settings. Of course, it's got some other links in here. So, for example, now I don't see my thing that I was looking for here because I have to go to a top-level site setting to find the access request and invitation right here. Okay, here's what I was looking for. Access requests and invitations appears at the top level site, so you do have to have access to the top level site with site collection. Once I go to access requests and invitations, it shows me that Aaron and Christine both have asked to be added to the site. The permission that by default is asking that, hey, you want to provide edit permission, which makes the most sense. Now it says human resources because when I say a site, I might have confused you a little bit, so sorry about that. What I really meant was the site collection in this case. The human resources site collection is the one that they're asking access to, right? Because as you know that if you do add them to the members group, the members group is, chances are that's shared among all the different sites in the site collection. Well, it is shared, of course, but what I'm saying is chances are that this group has access to all the different sites in the site collection. So Aaron Painter is asking that. Let me click on this ellipsis, which opens a menu. And here is his message. I've been told that I need access to all the HR documents on the site. Okay. Here, I'm going to say, okay, I will grant you access. I feel so powerful. I will grant you access, Aaron. Okay. So now this is a conversation piece. When I click on approve, it's been approved. Great, it's gone. For Christine, though, she's more of a casual, trying to get access to the site, but really doesn't need access. For her, I'm going to say, you need to talk to your manager and see if you... So I'm actually putting some conversation there. This will also be delivered to her through email. Hopefully we'll see your email. And then I'm going to decline her request. Okay? Alrighty. Now we'll go back to, let's do this one. This is Aaron. I'm going to go ahead and re-navigate to the webinar site and see what happens. Here we go. Aaron Painter now has access to the site, and obviously he's a member of the site, as we know. Now we'll go, okay, so this Internet Explorer, I'm going to go to Chrome over here, and we'll do the same thing for Christine. And here it says, sorry, you don't have access to the site. Well, it's actually said you need to talk to your manager and see if you really need access to the site. That's what I wrote down for her, right? And it says your request has been declined. So I didn't have to really decline it. I could have gone back and forth with her asking about different things before I can approve it or decline it. But in my case, it was crystal clear. She didn't really need access, so I declined it. But you can have a conversation back and forth before you actually make your decision, which I think is super, super necessary in these instances. Okay? So that's the deal. Let me go ahead now. Hopefully this will work fine. I'm going to go to Aaron Painter's webpage here, and I'm going to click on Outlook. And let's see. Outlook Web Access. Here we go. Good news, you now have access to the Human Resources site. That's what this says. Perfect. And of course, if you click on Go to the site, it takes you to, as you can see at the top, at the bottom, it takes you to sites/HR. So it doesn't directly take you to the webinar site that I was at before, by the way. It takes you to the HR, which is the site collection, because that's what you've been granted access to, and then you got to find your way back to the webinar site. Okay? So please keep that in mind. Also, a nice green dot over here, and this signifies that Aaron is online, which is very cool. Alrighty. So let me see if I missed anything over here. Yeah, there's one more thing that I would like to tell you about. If Aaron is at his site, let me go back to Webinar Home, and he says, you know what, I want to share access with somebody else. And Aaron, as you know, is a member of the site. He's not an owner, right? If you click on share over here, it says currently, well, it's shared with Irene Hernandez and a different person, Brian Cutler. Show options. Okay, so what's going on over here? Aaron does not have access, does not have the permission to share the site with somebody else. Of course, we know that because he's a member of the site. Why is it showing him this dialog? It's showing this to him because he can actually invite somebody else. He can invite somebody else on their behalf. Okay? Meaning he can do it for, who was that other person? Christine. And so you can write down over here, let's say Christine. Here we go. And try again over here. You know, in here you can say Christine is in my group and she needs access to this site. Something like that, right? A message that's going to be viewable to Christine also because she is the one who, on behalf of who he is writing this message, and it's also going to come to me as a site owner, Asif Rahmani, and I can then decide that, oh yeah, okay, so you know, Aaron is asking, he is the actual manager for Christine, I'm going to go ahead and give her access. So you can do that. Sharing request sent to site owner for appropriate action, basically. So I'm not going to go into that right now. I want to move along and do other stuff. But I just wanted to show you this, that you can request on behalf of somebody else as well. And when you do come to your access request page, let me refresh over here. Here, I guess I am showing you this. That it says now that requested by Aaron Painter on behalf of Christine, right? And now I can decide, okay, maybe I'll just give her read access, not edit access, but read access. And then I'll say granted over here, something like that, right? Approve. And now if everything has worked correctly, which I hope so, Christine should have access to the site. I guess we can find out. Alright, there we go. Christine now has access to the site, but she has only read access, and as you can see there is no add document because she cannot add documents. It's not available to her. But these security enhancements I think are pretty awesome. People do that. I didn't even go back to my slide, but here's my slide right here, which talks about the access request process. Going back and forth in here. Yeah? So hopefully you liked the sharing mechanism the way it is right now. Let me take a quick poll about that. And launch. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put that on the Q&A board, of course. So yeah, please go ahead and vote for what you think is true about security management now. Meanwhile, I'll take a look at your questions here. And I'm going to be looking at questions specifically about user access. Okay, and I probably won't know the answers to some of them, so let me apologize ahead of time. Let's see. So Summer is asking, you have to have access to the site collection to view access requests. You need to be the site owner, not necessarily the site collection administrator, but the site owner at the top level site. That's what you got. That's what you need. Is there no mail when requesting access? Kim is asking. Yes, there is mail. So you will see the mail if it's coming to you. You're the site owner. As I didn't show you my email, Asif Rahmani's Outlook email, but there's an email that comes to you as well. And then, of course, from there you can go to the access request page if you wanted to do that. Jimmy is asking a pretty cool question. Is there a way to add the access requests to a web part in a page? So is there a way to add the access requests process, that we just saw, to a web part on a page? That I don't know. I do not know if you could do that, but you know, a hack for that I can just think of right now off the fly is you take a web part, the page viewer web part, and in there you put the URL for a different site that you know the user will not have access to, something like that. And of course then on that web part they're going to see that other page for that other site, which is going to say the same thing as I showed you before. You don't have access, let us know why you need access. So you can do a hack like that, but I don't know if there's another way to put a web part specifically for this reason. When you grant a user access, does this send an email to notify that a user response has been submitted? Yeah, so Robert, I showed you some of that stuff. It does send an email. Okay, let's see. Melody's asking, could Christine several months from now request it again? Oh, so this is initially when she got declined. Can she request access again? Yes. In my opinion, at least right now, from what I've seen, you can request access again and again, and you can be denied again and again. But yes, you could do it multiple times. I don't know if there's any restriction on how many times you can do it within a certain period of time. Good question. Okay, Teresa is asking, what type of permissions do your site owners have to grant permission? So as I was saying before, you need to be a site owner at the top level site. That's my understanding so far. Keep in mind, for everything that I say, is all this stuff is my understanding so far. I've talked to the product group. I've talked to quite a few people within the team, and I've seen a lot of stuff and worked with a lot of stuff now in SharePoint 2013. However, having said all that stuff, I am not by any stretch of imagination a master at SharePoint 2013. There's still a lot to learn. A lot of stuff is still changing. So please forgive me if I give you an answer which comes out to be incorrect later if things change. Tim is asking, oh, wait a minute, this is about video enhancement, video capabilities. I don't think that anything has changed over there, Tim. Okay, so that's all I'm going to take right now. I'm going to get back now. Let me show you. Okay, I still have the poll open. Let me close that. And now I'm going to share it. Okay, I thought it was supposed to share. Here we go. So most of you are saying yes. Some of you are saying no, but most of you are saying yes, that it is a big improvement from what we had before. I agree that I feel it's a pretty big improvement as well. Of course, there's always room for improvement, but now we have the extensible app model, which, you know, it could be utilized to do something like that. So speaking of which, let me show you the app model as well a little bit. Let me hide the polls. So let's wait over here. Hopefully, there we go. Now I should be able to see my screen again. Let me go back here. Okay, from view site contents, you have this add an app. Also from the site actions, you have an add an app. Either way, you click on it and it takes you to this page right here. Yeah. So what is this? Well, it's got some of the existing list and library templates, tasks, custom list, document library, form library, announcements. In fact, all that stuff is the existing library and list templates that I have, right, that I can use. These are noteworthy and featured basically, and this is a complete list at the bottom right here. It shows Pingar, which seems kind of odd, right? Like, why does it show this app? This is an actual app that's out there in the marketplace. The reason this shows this is because I actually added it. I did add it, playing around with it a little bit, and I might play around with it a little bit more, but this is an actual app that exists right now which automatically extract metadata from content and gives you a nice navigation feature and nice sorting capability and stuff like that. So I've not really played around with it too much, but this is one of the things that I've added to the site collection. So now it's saying that, hey, you can add this to your site. And everything else is, like I was saying, all the stuff, the lists and libraries that you normally see. All these things are an app. So if I go into tasks, for example, then this remains the same. I can write tasks here, click on create, and I believe it's going to be the same experience. So here's my new tasks app, or the task list. There's a timeline included on the task list as well, which is pretty cool. But the look and feel and the way it works is pretty similar to what we had before. When I clicked on new task, actually it's taking me to a different page instead of a dialog box, so that's different. But let me go ahead and put in task 1, and today is the 12th, so I'll put in the due date. Or let's do this. The start date is going to be 9/13/12. The end date is going to be 9/15/12. So you can see how this shows up hopefully in the timeline. or maybe not. Okay, so it is supposed to show up this stuff in the timeline. I don't know why it's not. Should be right here somewhere. Maybe I have to click on this thing. Is that what it is? No. Time scale. Okay, so I guess I don't understand this completely just yet. When I did it before, it did add it to the timeline. Add task with days to the timeline. Yes. Do I have to drag it? I don't know. Okay, so this I guess I'm gonna have to play around with it a little bit more. But it did. Oh, here we go. Add to timeline. Aha. So this call out that appears, you have to, as you can say, add or remove from timeline. All right. Now, as far as other apps go, add an app. You say that, you know what, I don't want to add an app from here. I want a real app, not just a pretend list or library that's looking like an app. So there's a SharePoint store you can go to. Let me click on SharePoint store, because I know you want me to click on it. Let's see if it's working. So it actually took me to the App Store for SharePoint. Yeah. Here is showing all different apps that are available currently. And you can add. And there's even some paid apps, it seems like. Well, this is a test app. This is a paid app, it seems like. Build Hope. And then it's got some free apps. I'm not going to go through the whole model here, but you can click on app and it actually adds it to your subsite, to your specific subsite. Apps are scoped to a subsite, to a web. Okay, that's how it works. Sorry, I just got a message over here. So yeah, apps are scoped to a site. Hang on a second. And you can add an app directly to a subsite as a site owner. Now, in your SharePoint 2013 environment, the app model, the app store, and all that stuff could be locked down. It's very possible by the administrator, so that nobody can add app, or it could be left open that everybody can add app. That's my understanding so far. Or the administrator, the IT administrator, can actually get the different apps and then make it available internally so they can add apps. All that cool stuff you can do. Let me take a couple of quick questions over here about apps, and then we'll move forward. And actually, I got a poll about that too, so let me do a poll. Here we go, launching a poll about the apps, or the app model, really. I like the replies that I'm getting here. Okay. A couple of quick questions I'll take. How do you develop a new app? Vijay is asking. Well, there's a lot of documentation from Microsoft. Just type in on bing.com, google.com, whatever, SharePoint 2013 app model or app, and you'll see information. It's not that difficult actually to make an app. Of course, if you want to make it very, very extensive, there's a lot of stuff you can do. One other thing about apps is the app model encourages you to have the app on your own server or on the Azure service, Windows Azure in the cloud, or in Amazon Web Services, somewhere in the cloud basically. So it's all the meat and potatoes for the apps is there, and actually is showing the app in your SharePoint. That's how it works. Okay. How much does SharePoint... Okay, now this is not about apps. Let's see, let me go to specific app questions here. Nice app store. Thank you, Scott. I agree. I think it is pretty cool. If apps are scoped to a site, does that mean you need to purchase an app multiple times to use it on multiple sites? Michael's asking. My understanding, Michael, is that you purchase the app for your site collection basically, and it installs it on the site, on the website, specific to you. And then the actual app is available to the whole site collection. That's my understanding so far. So you don't have to purchase it for every subsite, which would be ridiculous. Are these apps built on HTML5? Prasad is asking. I don't know actually. I'm pretty sure the HTML5 compliancy is there because Microsoft is shooting for it big time, but I'm not sure if these are built on HTML. Anne-Marie is saying, I love it. I want more control like my phone. I agree. I agree. Phone, iPad, Zoom, whatever, right? Just be able to add an app so much easier. All right. Let me go back now. Talk to you about some other stuff here. Okay, so let me close this, share with you what the results are. Just do a quick look, and then I'm going to close that. Most of you like it. Some of you don't care. That's fine if you don't have any reason for that right now. Alright, let me hide it. Okay, let's continue on. So we have about till 2:15 p.m. Central Time. By the way, those of who care to know, I'm in Chicago. That's my base, so Central Time here. I won't be able to show you everything else as well. So let's move on. I'm going to go back here to the site. And then the next thing, document management. Let's talk about that. I'm going to go, oh actually I'll just stay here, documents. You know, document management, first thing of course you think about is how do I add documents, right? Adding documents first means adding it right here, clicking on new document. So now it lets you make your document right here. I can click on Word document, HR policy document .docx. Because I have Office web apps, because it's running Office 365, I can see this thing right here online, and I can show it here saying here is the HR policy document. You know, different kind of features that I have is changing the font and everything. Actually, a lot of things that you see on the actual FAT client, the actual Word client, you see it directly on the web, which looks really, really awesome, I think. See the ribbon here too? It's all running in the web. And of course you can make your documents offline as well and then put them on here. You would have to do that if you didn't have Office web applications running on your site. Okay? So that's the deal with making new documents. I can click on Save here, saving, go back to Human Resources site, and there it is. Now it's actually showing me the documents library specifically. Here's my document. Now another really cool thing about this document is you see this menu. It's the call out menu basically. If I click on that, Word app shows me a preview of the document. How cool is that? Here's a preview of my document. So this actually looks way, way cool. If I have a PowerPoint that I put here, I can see all my slides directly in my preview. And then you can also print to PDF, download a copy, lots of cool things you can do here. You can do a share with sharing with other people directly here. It's showing who it's shared with currently. You can follow the document, etc. Very, very cool stuff. Now, uploading documents. That's something that, oh man, it's been on people's mind for a long time. You know, why isn't it easier? Why do I have to click on this, click on that, and then drag all my documents in there? Why can't I just drag them directly here? Well, now you can. Drag files directly here. So I got some sample documents, right? Got this AdventureWorks here. Here we go. I got a PowerPoint right here, PDF, document. So I got Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, Word document. I'm going to take all of them, cross my fingers, knock on wood, and move here. Let's see what happens. It does work 99.9% of the time. I've had some issues here and there where it didn't take. I'm not sure exactly why. Like I said, it's still preview and beta software, so we can't really hammer Microsoft too much for it yet. But yeah, here we go. Upload completed. 4 added. Dismiss the notification. Wonderful, isn't it? Let's see if the PowerPoint works as beautifully as I was saying before. So if I click on this ellipses, come on PowerPoint, counting on you. PowerPoint web app preview, look at that. That I think is very awesome. It's showing me my slide directly from a conference that I did. So yeah, just like that. That's very nifty, I think. Okay. So let's see, moving on. If I want to delete something, right? This HR policy or healthcare reform, I don't really care for this one. Okay, so I'm going to click on this thing, and of course you can go to files and delete and all that stuff, but you know what users think of is, hey, I should be able to click on this and hit delete on my keyboard. Let's do it. Are you sure you want to send this to the recycle bin? Yes. Isn't that awesome? It's so intuitive. I love the document management features. It's just, it works, you know, like it's supposed to work. It's very much like Windows Explorer. When I'm in Windows Explorer, I'm doing the same things. I'm dragging stuff, I'm deleting things by clicking on it and hitting delete on my keyboard. So you can do all that stuff here. Very, very nice, I think. And if you have something that you've already gotten before. Let's see, sample documents. So this one, right? And I tried to put it up here again. It should give me a notification. Here we go. A file with the same name already exists. Do you want to replace it? What do you want to do? That's also very cool. Instead of just replacing it on the fly, which it used to do, you can actually say, no, don't upload. I was just, it was my mistake. So I think it's pretty cool. I think Microsoft has done a great job in getting truly the features that end users need. They need this for SharePoint adoption, for SharePoint to work. So it's happening. It's happening. And of course, as I was saying before, you can actually do a SkyDrive where all the stuff is synced to your hard drive. You know what? I actually have this running because I did it before, and I could show that to you. So this is my other this is my SharePoint 2013 on-premise, right? And as you can see over here that I actually synced up from my site, and it's showing me the stuff from my site right here, and it's even got this nice green arrow or green check mark saying that this actually is synced up. It's, you know, very much like other products that I've seen out there as well, which it makes me feel good knowing that, oh yeah, this has been synced up. So it's all saved on the server and saved on my hard drive. Great. So this is SkyDrive Pro is for my site. The SharePoint libraries appears in Windows Explorer directly for a document in a team site. Okay, SkyDrive Pro is for my site. This one is for a team site. Very, very cool, I think. All right, so I got a chance to show you that too. I'm glad. Okay, quick question break over here. So we got about 15 minutes to go, so we got enough time to do the themes and stuff, and then another Q&A. But let me go ahead and see if I can put up another quick poll over here, launching this one. And as you respond to this thing, I'll go ahead and take your questions for document management only right now. Okay. Carrie's asking, can you connect the documents library to SkyDrive? Yeah, so the SkyDrive here is actually internal SkyDrive. It's not an external SkyDrive, it's a SkyDrive Pro that comes directly with SharePoint. It's internal. That's the difference. Sal's asking, does SharePoint 2013 allow for automatic conversion of documents to PDF on upload? I don't think so. Or post-upload to be stored in SharePoint. So post-upload, it can do a PDF conversion, but it's going to send it to your hard drive. Then you got to re-upload it back to the library. That's my understanding. Yeah, so that's what's remaining of your question, Sal. Christian is asking, metadata and document library, are they editable directly in the document list, or still one if you click on edit item? That's a good question. I think I'm going to show you that, of how you can edit metadata. It's also it's the datasheet view. There's a datasheet view and there's a quick edit view in Firefox that I've seen. Both works exactly the same. It just works. So that's pretty cool. Let me close the polls, by the way, as I'm doing this, and share this stuff with you as I still go to the questions. Dennis is asking, is drag and drop only a web app feature? No. So I'm sorry, maybe I should explain that further. The drag and drop that I showed you, in fact, all the stuff that I'm showing you is all workable in on-premise SharePoint. Okay, all that stuff is possible. Everything that I'm showing you today is possible on-premise in SharePoint 2013 and in the Office 365 stuff. So Microsoft is really going to that mode where in the future, at one point, it's going to be exactly the same. Well, almost exactly the same. But all the features that I'm talking about, the power user features and everything else for document management, sharing, and everything else is exactly the same on site as well. Okay. All right. Does SharePoint 2013 allow us to move documents from one library to another or from one site to another without losing critical metadata such as modification timestamp? And then Tim is asking, please say yes. You know, Tim, I have to be honest with you, that I have not tried, so I can't give you an answer on that. All right. Sorry, I have not tried that, moving it from one library to another and moving it from one site to another and seeing if the timestamp remains. My thought over here, since I've not seen any documentation otherwise, is that the timestamp will not remain from originally, but that's just my guess. Alrighty, let's move on. Hide the responses. So most of you said pretty awesome. I agree. It is pretty awesome. Okay, moving on. Now the themes. Let's talk about themes and how you can, what's different and what's similar. So webinar. Here's my site. Here's how it looks right now. Can I make it look better? Sure. This one. What's your style? Change the look of your site. Let's go in here. So here's all different themes that you have available to you now. Now remember, some of you hopefully will remember that in SharePoint 2010 you had the ability to create themes using Microsoft Word 2010, Microsoft PowerPoint 2010, and of course you can take the themes that are already there and modify the themes directly in the browser. Well, the way to make themes in Word, to make themes in PowerPoint, that ability is gone. So for better or worse, we can't do that anymore. Okay? Here's a way to do it now. You take one of the themes that you like. So it's got different fonts, it's got background image, it's got all the different things. And you take something that's close to what you like. It's got 14 of them that I see so far. Microsoft might have more later. Let's see, how about this one right here? Okay, so I'm going to go in here. I can try it out directly with this thing, or I can say, you know what, I want to change the colors a little bit. Yeah, this looks a little bit better for what I'm looking for. And also I want to change the site layout from Belltown, which is what it is right now, that's what it's called, to V15, the version 15, which is just much more simpler. Like this box that you're seeing. Let me draw this out right here. So this right here, that disappears, right? This is a Belltown specific feature. That's not there in V15 here. So maybe I'll just leave it to Belltown. Fonts I can change also. It doesn't show me a live preview of the fonts. Let me go ahead and change to Georgia. But that's not all. I can replace this background image that you see over here. See the background image? That I can replace. And how would I replace that? Well, let me look for the image that I have. Let me find it over here. Documents. Yeah, so I have an image over here. Let me close that. This is capital.jpg. Take this and drag it and drop it directly here. And hopefully it will work. So far I've done it a few times and it has never taken this long. Hopefully it will take it. Let me actually refresh. Maybe it just oh yeah, I think it did take it. Oh, I think it just took it in context, so it reverted back to what it was before. Let me try it again. Joys of beta software. Well, here we go. It did work the second time around. Now I can try it out. It's going to show me a preview, hopefully, of what it's going to look like. Working on it. The preview is not going to be live. This is just, I can't click around anything here. It's just a picture, basically. And if I like it, then I can say, yeah, keep it. Or no, not quite there. Let's start over. So yeah, I'll say, yes, keep it. Let's see if it does. Awesome. Isn't that pretty cool? So it's actually showing me more links now on top than it was there before, which is kind of odd. Oh, okay, so it took all the quick launch stuff and it puts it here. Very cool. So it has changed quite a bit of my site, the way it used to look from before to now. That's a surprise to me as well. I learned something. All right, so that's how the theming process works. I think it's pretty cool. Is this what professional designers are going to use? No, that's not what professional designers are going to use. Professional designers will want to make their own styles, their own images, their own fonts and everything else, and then import all that stuff into CSS properly, and then have the CSS, the cascading style sheets, be referenced from master pages, which is the proper way to go. So that is not this. This is just for site owners and also for anybody else who wants to do it, but for professional designers, the cool news for that is you can make your designs in Dreamweaver, in Web Expressions for Microsoft, in whatever you want, and you can take those designs, those CSS, the HTML, the JavaScript, if you have JavaScript, all that stuff, and take all that stuff, package it together, and put it into SharePoint. Don't ask me how that process works exactly because I don't know, but that's the message. And I will try to learn that later. I'm not a big branding kind of guy, but I do want to understand how that process works, but currently I don't have any more information about that just yet. Okay, so I'm glad I was able to show you everything, and now it's time for questions. Let me actually take one more poll over here. So I launched a poll for the theming engine, and I'm going to look at your questions for themes specifically right now. Oh yeah, I did forget to show the metadata, didn't I? Okay, just hang on, I'll get back to the metadata modification. Sorry about that. Reed, thank you for reminding me. Okay, branding. How will a site with custom CSS branding in SharePoint 2010 convert to a SharePoint 2013 site? Matt is asking, how will it convert? Your guess is as good as mine right now, Matt. I have no clue currently. We'll see what happens. You have to talk to a designer for that. Did I understand that there are no more custom themes? Melissa is asking. So you can, when you make the changes, it becomes custom changes, of course, but there's no custom theme that it saves for you specifically. I mean, it works pretty much the same way as before. It didn't really, I mean, it saved it, your customizations on top of the existing theme, but it didn't do anything else. So it's doing the same thing right now. That's my understanding. Sally, you're asking, is it CSS3? I have no clue. So sorry, but like I said, I'm not into branding, so I'm not sure about that. Let me close the polls, by the way, and show you what it looks like. And then keep on taking some of the questions here. Will you still be able to import Office themes to SharePoint for branding? Danzel is asking. No, so that's what I was saying before, Danzel, that you cannot do that anymore. That's gone. Okay. Asif, where are the sample themes you can choose from? Kevin is asking. So sample themes are, as I was saying before, and this is going to be the last question for right now. Let me hide this and show you my desktop again. Yeah, as expected, most of you, 90% of you said yes, themes are pretty cool in SharePoint 2013. Okay, so the themes I got to is from here. What's your style? Keep in mind that all the stuff that you have here, you can get to also from, look at this. This is not really a good brand, a good theme right now, right? The way it looks, it's kind of hiding my site actions. I can barely see it. So if you go to site settings, I'm sure in here you can go to look and feel. No, I'm sorry. You can go to change the look. And here we go. It shows you the themes right here. Okay. Everything that you saw on the home page with those Metro buttons is available here as well. Oh yeah, the metadata, before I forget again. So if I'm in the documents library, I can click on, once again, this looks kind of funky, but because I'm using Firefox, there's a quick edit button. Let me actually put something in here. I thought I did. Was there a different library? Okay, that's confusing me. I thought I put something here in the documents library, didn't I? Okay. I don't know what happened to those. Maybe I put it in a different library. I'll have to go and look at the recording to see what I just did. Policy. Come on. So it's trying to open up, I think, the policy document in Word app, but it's having trouble, of course, because it's the end. Okay, here we go. Now for the metadata, that's what we're really concerned about, right? If you go into library and click on quick edit, you get this Excel kind of view. And I can change the name over here, I think, right, to, there we go. So I just changed it to IT policy, and then if I view it again, I've changed the name of it. So that's how simple it is, just like the datasheet view that we're used to. It's just like that. You can actually change the stuff here. That's how metadata change works. I hope I answered that question. Okay, let's see. What I'm going to do is put another quick poll here for you guys. It's going to be the last one. And just want to see what is your impression complete of SharePoint 2013. And then I'll do some questions here. Also, then I want to show you some resources as well. So after this webinar, you can go, as I was saying before, on SharePoint 2013 website or other places to see the videos and everything for that. So let me show you those resources. Just a second. Let me quickly, I'm going to close this poll in 5 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And shared with you guys. Here's what you had to say. Most of you loved it. Some of you didn't think anything special of it. Just a very tiny bit of you that you don't like it at all. You hate it. It's okay. It's everybody's opinion. No problem. I am pretty good. I'm loving it for the most part. There are issues, there are problems, but for the most part I'm loving it personally. Alrighty. Let's show my desktop again. What I want to do once my desktop shows up again, hopefully. I didn't show you many slides over here. I don't think it was needed, but I just want to show you the last slide here as I take your questions. So call to action, download and install SharePoint 2013 preview. You can do that pretty easily from Microsoft's site. You can watch the videos on SharePointVideos.com. Once again, it was under videos, SharePoint 2013 video tutorials. You can check that out, or also on Microsoft's site they have some videos. And you can connect with me. Here's my email. I will try to get to emails as much as possible. Twitter ID. I would love for you to put some feedback on Twitter if you have some time. That would be great. And I would love for you to fill out the survey just to let me know how we did this time around, how the presentation was, and what we can improve on, and other kind of topics that you could tell us about. So if you have to leave, thank you very much for attending. Really appreciated having you here. If for people who are staying, I will go ahead and take your questions for a few minutes. Then I'll say my goodbyes. Okay, so let's see. Kim has a tip actually for everybody, and I love this tip. I've used this before as well, that for text, for putting text in Word, also for 265, Office 365, type equals rand, R-A-N-D, and then parentheses, a couple of numbers, comma, number, comma, number, and it actually gives you a lot of text automatically. Pretty cool. I agree. Let's see. Mahesh was asking, how do you add a link to a document library? By the way, you're doing a terrific job. Thank you, Maheshwar. So linking, how do you add a link to a document library? That's actually a pretty good question. You can add links to libraries to point to other documents or to other content somewhere else. But that works the same as it works right now in SharePoint 2010. And I'm pretty sure we have a video about that as well. We have lots of videos for a lot of different content, and I'm pretty sure there's a video about that on our SharePointVideos.com site. The way it works is you have to add a new content type. It's an existing content type called link to document or link to something. And once you add that content type to the library, then it will let you make a new link in that library, which looks very much like a regular document, but when somebody clicks on it, it actually takes them to somewhere else, or it brings a document from somewhere else, which is really cool. So same as before. Do we have multiple check-in feature? VJ is asking. Multiple check-in, nope, doesn't. I don't see it. Sorry. Lon is asking, might have missed this, but has moving documents between folders been improved? Yeah, once again, between folders, between libraries, between sites, I have not tried this yet. I should have. I should make a mental note of trying that. So I can't tell you right now alone. You gotta try that yourself, or I'll give it a shot and tell you in the next webinar. Okay. I'm taking only questions from people who are still here. Some who have left, I am not taking those questions right now. So what's new for developers in SharePoint 2013? Venkata is asking. There's a lot of new stuff for developers, specifically the apps, creation of the apps, and just the way the whole model works. Workflow, for example, for developers is also completely changed, very, very different. It's very declarative in nature. which may or may not be good depending on what you think. I would encourage you to search on Microsoft's site, on TechNet. There's a lot of documentation for developers. Okay, Vikram is saying, does it allow to check in and out like previous versions? Yep, just like before. And Marie, what is the improvement for sharing like the Groove? Well, kind of more than one person in one doc. So sharing and collaborating on a document at one time works great in web apps, in Office web apps. But the story for collaborating on documents that are offline, or fat client application, the actual Word application, that has not changed. That remains the same. Groove or SharePoint Workspace is the new product, right, from the last version. I don't think that has changed. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen the new version of it. From the documentation that I've been reading, I didn't see any changes. But I could be wrong. So check that out. I will check that out next time. Michael is asking, are files still stored in the database? Yes, they are. Or is SharePoint now using pointers to physical files? No, my understanding is still all the files are stored in the database. Tawasilan is asking, hi Asif, is there a language toggle for those of us who need multilingual capabilities? Very good question. I don't think there's a language toggle that's that easy. You can apply a language pack. So you can apply a language pack to a site just like before. I don't think that has changed, but I am not sure. You can purchase one from outside, or you can take the existing ones that they're already built in. I believe French, Spanish, some of that common stuff is already there, and you can apply it. But that's as much as I know about it right now. Sheila is saying, would replacing the document, if the name already exists, create a new version if version is enabled? Replacing the document if the name already exists, create a new version. So yeah, if you put something on top of it and it recognizes the same document, it's going to make a new version. Otherwise, it's going to go ahead and create a new document, basically. Boriana saying, special applause from me. Well, thank you, Boriana. I appreciate that. How does linking and searching work? So searching I have not dove into yet, but searching from what I've been reading is huge. There's predefined search queries enabled in a lot of places. So for example, there's a view that you see in my site called the Shared With Me view. And if you go to my site and you click on the Shared With Me view, it shows you all the different things that are shared with you, but that view is actually running a search query on the fly to show you all the stuff that's everywhere directly in your view, which is very cool. I think a lot of stuff is search driven now. Any changes in versioning, Luann is asking. Not to my knowledge, Luann. Do we have cascaded lookup feature? Prasad is saying, I'm not sure what that means, Prasad. I don't think so. What mobile support does it have? Jim is asking. Well, mobile support, there is one thing. Yeah, there's something called channels that Microsoft has produced. Channels is a way for branding people, for developers to actually make different channels for different devices. So if a Windows phone comes to this site, show them this interface. If Android comes, shows them this interface. If iOS comes, show them this interface. So you can actually make different channels like that, especially for the web content management, WCM sites or publishing sites. That's as much as I know right now. I've not played with that, but you could definitely do that for sure. What about workflows? Any big changes? Bjorn is asking. Workflows is actually pretty big changes in both for developers and for SharePoint designer folks like myself. And that you'll have to wait for next time. I will be doing a workflow webinar. Not sure exactly when, maybe next month. There are some huge changes, especially with SharePoint Designer people who are no-code people like myself. You can actually make loops now. You can have different stages. You can go to a different stage, from one stage to another stage. It's some really cool stuff, but I still have to make some examples and all, and then I can show you that stuff the next time around. Is there any app validation done, like check for memory leaks by Microsoft before apps are published to App Market? Hussein is asking. I really hope so. I don't know, but I really hope that Microsoft is testing some of these things out before they enter the marketplace. I mean, you cannot just throw something on there without Microsoft approving it. That's a good thing, but I don't know exactly what kind of rigorous testing is happening before that takes place. Let's see. Any changes to InfoPath form services? Aha, Karthik is asking, any changes to InfoPath? No, there's been no changes at all that I know of. Nothing, which has been disappointing to me personally. I love InfoPath personally, but I don't see any changes at all in this version. SharePoint Designer, I was told there's only code view, no design view. Oh no, you asked that question, Scott. Yes, it is true. There is no design view in SharePoint Designer. If you go to my blog, by the way, you can go to my blog from SharePointVideos.com. There's a blog link right there. You'll see there's a whole big blog that I talked about, just talking about no design view in SharePoint Designer and the exact impact of that. Huge impact. It's very true, Scott, and I'm sorry. John, moving between folders, I always delete and then re-upload. Is SharePoint 2013 any easier? Yeah, I gotta check that. I gotta check it. I don't know. I will let you know though. Manny is saying, will or does SharePoint 2013 web parts have integration with CRM 2011 as SharePoint 2010 did? I am not familiar if there's anything that has changed there, Manny. Okay. What is new in SharePoint 2013 for SharePoint Administrator? Ganesh is asking. Well, as far as I understand from Central Administration, most of the things are exactly the same. I will have to look into that deeper, Ganesh, and hopefully have another webinar talking about that. But right now, we're just focused on Power User. I'll have to get back to you on that. Okay. Shajas is asking, can I develop apps like web parts? Apps are definitely a different model altogether. I would definitely have you look into that further. It's very much development focused. But yeah, as you develop lists or libraries or web parts, you can do apps as well now. Color calendars, Anne is asking, as Anne-Marie, the color doesn't work in SharePoint 2010. Well, you can do some color coding for different events. There are ways of doing it, and I don't think that has really changed much or has improved as to what we already had in 2013. I'll take a couple more, then I gotta go as well. It's 2:25 in my watch here. Are files and metadata still searchable? Absolutely, still searchable, Melody. And let's see. So document preview available in search. Document preview is available in search. Yes, a lot of fast search stuff actually has come to SharePoint 2013 regular search, which is awesome. If you get Enterprise SharePoint 2013, you get a lot of features that were only available in fast search before, which is great. Last one. Can you post a link for the SharePoint 2013 download? I cannot find it on MSDN, so let me actually do that, and then gotta go. So here we go. Maybe we'll do a quick search here. SharePoint 2013 preview download. I'm sure this will give us what we need, hopefully. Here we go. So download SharePoint Server 2013 preview. You can go to that. And I'm going to go ahead and take this thing, put it into the chat window, send to, or questions window, I guess. Send to all. So hopefully everybody got that link. Alright folks, I gotta go. Thank you very much once again for attending. I hope you enjoyed it. Any feedback welcomed, and hope to see you again next time. Take care. Have a great rest of the day.